woman beheaded her boyfriend and then had his corpse. This is the story of how Taylor Schabusiness unalived her boyfriend, Shad Farion. Just a disclaimer that I'm just a girl and not a lawyer, and all this information is publicly available. On February 21st, 2022, 24-year-old Shad Farion was picked up from his mother's home in Green Bay, Wisconsin by his girlfriend, 25-year-old Taylor Schabusiness. All I can think of is Shabuzi when I say that name. Shad had enjoyed wood carving, camping, playing games, and spending quality time with his family. He was known for empathy and for putting others first. Shad's obituary beautifully captured who he was by saying, quote, "He's a very kind and compassionate person who often thought of others before himself." Friends and family remembered him for the genuine warmth and thoughtfulness. On the evening of February 21st, 2022, the two had smoked some and eventually ended up in the basement of his family's house alone. This is where things take a turn. According to the court documents, Taylor had strangled Shad during court, then continued it for 3 to 5 minutes until he was not alive anymore. Shockingly and disgustingly, she then continued to have sex with his corpse. Excuse me while I go throw up. 2 days later, on February 23rd, 2022, Shad's mother went to check on him in the basement because she realized that she hadn't seen him in 2 days. And instead of finding him asleep, she found a bucket with a towel over it, and inside was Shad's decapitated head. Absolutely horrified, she immediately called 911, of course, and when officers responded, they found more remains hidden throughout the house, including in storage bins and bags. Police quickly learned that Shad had been with his girlfriend the night before. So what happened was, the morning after the unaliving, Taylor dismembered him using household sharp weapons. Shad's severed head was placed in a bucket while other body parts, even his private parts, were removed and scattered around. Body parts were even found in her minivan. Officials followed leads and eventually found her in a nearby home on Stony Brook Lane on March 1st, 2022, and she was arrested. During the trial, jurors saw crime scene photos, police testimony, and disturbing details about the crime. In July of 2023, a jury convicted her of first-degree intentional homicide, mutilating a corpse, and third-degree. The judge sentenced Taylor to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Thankfully, this monster will be behind bars for the rest of her life, and the judge called it an attack on human decency, dignity, and the community. Taylor's aggression did not end there, though. In February of 2023, during court, she lunged at her own defense attorney. She's crazy. In April 2025, she attacked a nurse and a prison guard, swinging a metal table at them. Then she was thankfully tackled and pepper sprayed by guards, but this woman is nuts. Shad was described as a kind and compassionate individual. His life was brutalized, his body was desecrated, and his unaliving shocked communities. This is a reminder, sadly, of how evil can hide behind normalcy, and it can come from the ones who we trust the most, which is terrifying. I would love to know your thoughts on this case in the comments. It was absolutely wild to me. I was screaming, crying, throwing up, researching this case because of how just disgusting and brutal it was. I post true crime videos. If you like this type of content, follow so you don't miss my next video, and please stay safe out there because you never know what's right around the corner. You never know who you can trust, so always please make sure you're being safe. This is one of the most heartbreaking and disturbing cases of child I have ever heard about. It's the story of baby Brianna Lopez, a 5-month-old from New Mexico. Trigger warning that this case does involve the and unaliving of a child. So if that is triggering to you in any way, shape, or form, please, please, please do not watch this video. Just skip it. It's not worth it. I will see you in my next one. On July 19th, 2002, baby Brianna was rushed to a hospital after her parents claimed that she had fallen out of her high chair. But doctors immediately knew that something was wrong with this story. The injuries they found were absolutely horrifying. Brianna literally had bruises from head to toe. She had bite marks on her body, fractured ribs, a fractured skull, she was bleeding from her brain, and had signs of unimaginable abuse. Tragically, by the time they got to the hospital, it was already too late. Baby Brianna had passed away from her injuries. Her injuries were so bad that doctors called the police, and when investigators dug deeper, what they uncovered was beyond horrifying. Brianna's father, Andy Walters, and her uncle, Stephen Lopez, admitted to repeatedly being baby Brianna. Her mother, Stephanie Lopez, not only knew that this was happening, but would join in on this. And she didn't stop it, she let it continue. And this was not a one-time thing. According to police, the abuse had been going on for weeks. Baby Brianna had been treated like a punching bag in her own home by the people who were supposed to protect her own parents and family members. This completely outrages me because why do you have a child if you know you're just going to lose it? Why did you choose to bring a child into this world if you were not going to take care of it? Breaks my heart. The justice system did respond, but many felt that it just wasn't enough. Brianna's father was sentenced to 57 years in prison. Her uncle got 51 years, and her mother only 27 years. Even more upsetting is that her mother was released after only serving 13 years. So in 2016, she was walking free. She's been walking free for almost 10 years. And if this story isn't heartbreaking enough, none of her family members claimed Brianna's body. Locals had to step in to give her a proper funeral. For years, her grave was kept in a cage. Yes, a literal actual cage, because her family members kept coming and vandalizing it. That family did not deserve that little girl. Absolutely not. I know she was just a little, sweet little angel baby. Her case led to the passing of Baby Brianna's Law in New Mexico, which increases the penalties for child resulting in. But even with that, people still ask, how could someone do this to their own baby? And how was this mother ever allowed to walk free? I need these questions answered. It's absolutely insane. If you made it to the end of this video, thank you so much for listening to Baby Brianna's story, and thank you so much for spending time with me today. I would love to know your thoughts about this case in the comments. It was honestly one of the hardest cases that I've ever researched because of how devastating it was and just how that family did not deserve that perfect little angel baby. I post true crime videos every day, so if you like this kind of content, please follow along so you don't miss my next video. And if you have a case you want me to cover, please leave it in the comments. I read all of your comments. And please, please, please stay safe out there. What if welcoming someone into your campsite was the worst mistake you would ever make, and the random stranger you offered a beer to turned around and unalived you? This is the story of Dustin Kersim. Quick disclaimer that I am not a lawyer and all this information is publicly available on the internet. Dustin Kersim was a 35-year-old dad from Belgrade, Montana. He was described by his sister as a loving and adoring father. He was an avid outdoorsman and a construction contractor. He was no stranger to the wilderness. He went camping a lot and had tons of knowledge on how to survive in the outdoors. In early October of 2024, Dustin set out to camp near Big Sky in the remote Moose Creek area of Montana. He arrived on Thursday, October 10th and built a wall tent setup complete with a stove, beds, lamps, and more. He had planned to pick up his girlfriend the next day so that she could join him in his camping trip. But when he didn't show up that Friday the 11th, she had called a friend, and together they went to go see if they could find his campsite and to look for him. The next day, on Saturday morning, October 12th, they found Dustin's deceased body in his tent. The scene was so brutal that the initial